The distress beacon shouldn't have been there. I was supposed to be running routine checks on the abandoned mining colony, just another night of stale air and flickering console lights, but my scanner caught a faint pulse coming from the canyon ridge. Protocol said ignore it. Off-world survivors meant quarantine risks. Command would deal with it eventually. But something pulled me into that dark ravine. The night sky above was smothered in dust, hiding both moons, leaving only the glow of my visor and the crunch of my boots over wreckage. Shattered hull plating gleamed like broken glass, twisted beams jutted upward like bones. And there, at the heart of it, I found her. She was collapsed against a jagged strut, trembling, her body half buried under ash. For a moment, I thought she was a statue, her skin shimmered violet under the weak starlight, smooth and luminous despite the dirt and blood. Her hair, long and white as fresh snow, drifted across her face with each shallow breath. And her clothes, what was left of them, looked woven from liquid light, scorched and torn as if they'd been ripped from another world entirely. I knelt. Training screamed in the back of my head, don't touch, don't interfere, report and withdraw. Unknown biology, unknown threat. But when her eyes flickered open, none of that mattered. Her gaze met mine, and it was like falling into an abyss of galaxies. Deep violet eyes, darker than her skin, carrying a weight of sadness and fire. She tried to speak, her lips moving with words in a language I'd never heard, soft, melodic, desperate. I hesitated only a second. Then I slid my arms under her fragile frame and lifted. She was lighter than expected, warm against the chill night air. For a moment she stiffened, but then her head fell against my shoulder as though some part of her had already chosen to trust me. Back at my outpost shelter, I laid her across the med table. Her injuries weren't like any wounds I'd seen. Not cuts, not burns. The fractures in her skin glowed faintly at the edges, like cracks in glass filled with light. When I applied healing gel, the glow flared brighter, then slowly dimmed. She never looked away from me, her strange, ancient eyes fixed as if memorizing every line of my face. Hours passed. The first hints of dawn painted the horizon in muted shades of gold by the time she finally sat upright. Carefully, shakily, she reached for my hand. The moment our skin touched, something surged through me, warm, electric, alive. A pulse that raced up my arm and settled in my chest, vibrating like a second heartbeat. Her eyes widened. She felt it too. Her lips moved again, but this time what came out was clear, accented, careful. Thank you. Before I could respond, the sky outside erupted in blinding light. 3 ships descended, sleek silver shapes cutting through dawn, engines humming like an unearthly choir. Figures in mirrored armor stepped out in formation, their movements sharp, military, merciless. One, taller than the rest, strode forward and spoke in that same melodic language. The woman, no, the queen, I realized now, straightened with effort. Her voice, fragile but commanding, answered in kind. But her eyes kept returning to me, even as they surrounded her. She pressed her palm against her chest, then against mine, a gesture I didn't understand, but one that made my heart ache with its intensity. Then, without another word, they took her. The ships rose and vanished, leaving scorched earth behind. My comm pinged with a single warning, forget this night, or be erased. I tried. God knows I tried. But some nights, when the stars aligned just right, I could still feel that impossible pulse beating in my chest. I could still see her violet skin, her white hair glowing in the half-light. I told myself it was just a dream. But dreams don't leave scars that glow in the dark. 5 years in the void teaches you that loneliness has a sound. It's the hum of engines echoing through metal corridors, the static hiss between distant stars, the silence where her voice used to be. That was my life now. Fixing broken satellites on the edge of nowhere, patching panels with recycled tools, eating meals that tasted like dust. My ID read Kalen Dross, just another nameless engineer keeping humanity's communication lattice alive. Nothing special. Nobody who once carried a queen with violet skin and white hair out of the ruins and felt the universe shift inside his chest. I told myself I'd moved on. That was the smart thing, the safe thing. Command had made it clear, one word about that night, and I'd vanish without a trace. So I buried it. Buried the memory of her violet gaze, of the warmth that had burned into me with that single touch. Buried it deep. Or at least I tried. My wrench slipped one shift, spinning lazily into the dark. Smooth, dross, I muttered as it tumbled toward infinity. I sighed and reached for another, my tether groaning in the silence of space. That's when the scanner on my pod screamed. Unidentified vessel. Approaching fast. No transponder. No beacon. My heart kicked against my ribs. Pirates. Raiders. Out here, that usually meant death. I scrambled back toward the pod, but the ship was already there, massive and silent, dropping out of nowhere like a phantom sculpted from starlight. Its hull shimmered with impossible colors, surfaces that seemed to breathe, bending light in ways that shouldn't exist. I knew this design. I'd seen it once before, 5 years ago, when they'd taken her away. The airlock opened. And she stepped out. No suit. No tether. Her body was wrapped in a faint field of light, bending space around her. She floated through the void like a dream, violet skin radiant with patterns of soft glow running across it, like bioluminescent rivers beneath the surface. Her white hair drifted around her face as though she carried her own gravity, catching the stars and making them dim in comparison. My breath caught. My hands shook. But her eyes, those eyes, were exactly as I remembered. She stopped just beyond my tether, her presence warping the silence between us. Her voice came through my helmet, calm and impossibly warm. You touched me once, Kalen Dross, she whispered. And I never forgot. My vision blurred. Lyra, I said, my voice breaking around the name. Her lips curved into the saddest, most beautiful smile I'd ever seen. You remember me. I remember everything, I said. But you left. They took you. I thought I had no choice. She reached out, her hand hovering near my visor, shimmering with the barrier that separated us. But I made one anyway. I chose to find you. Why? My voice cracked, full of every lonely night I'd spent replaying her touch. It's been 5 years. Why now? Her gaze softened, but I saw pain ripple across her face. Because it took 5 years to grow strong enough to defy them. 5 years to escape their chains. 5 years to track you across 12 systems. Her voice trembled just slightly. And 5 years to become the kind of queen who could return. Her hand almost touched my helmet, and I swore I felt warmth radiate through the barrier. Kalen, your kindness awakened something in me. Something my people had crushed for generations, connection, love. They called it corruption. They tried to purge it. But it wouldn't die. I stared at her, my throat tight. So what happened? I was cast out. Her voice sharpened, and a shadow passed across her glowing features. Exiled. Declared dead to my bloodline. But exile gave me freedom. And with that freedom, I searched for you. My words faltered. But I'm nobody. A technician on the rim. Why risk everything, for me? She moved closer, until the shimmer of her shield met my visor. Her violet eyes locked on mine, unshakable. Because when everyone else saw me as a broken heir, you saw someone worth saving. Because you carried me, healed me, risked everything to protect me. Because you made me feel alive for the first time in my existence. And because I would cross every star in this galaxy again if it meant standing here now. The pulse. The same pulse from 5 years ago surged back, thrumming between us even through the void. Stronger now. They'll come for you, I whispered. They already are. Her smile turned defiant, glowing patterns flickering across her skin. But this time, I don't care. I didn't come to run. I came back for you. The question is, her voice broke, soft but unwavering, will you come with me? The silence of space pressed against me, heavy and endless. I looked at her, this impossible queen, luminous and fierce, who had risked her throne and her bloodline for a single memory. A woman who carried exile like a crown. Yes, I breathed. My chest ached with the truth. God, yes. Her laugh rang like music in the void, brighter than any engine hum. And in that moment, the universe itself shifted. Her ship swallowed us in silence, the airlock sealing behind like a closing eye. The moment my helmet unlocked, I tore it off, and she was there, solid and real and impossibly close. Lyra pressed her forehead to mine, violet skin glowing faintly in the dim light of the chamber. The warmth of her touch surged through me, that old pulse blossoming into something larger, richer. A rhythm that felt less like mine or hers and more like ours. I thought I dreamed you, I whispered, my voice trembling. Her smile was soft, but her eyes shone with unshakable fire. No dream, Kaelin. I am here. And I will not leave you again. Before I could answer, alarms pulsed across the ship. Through the viewport I saw them, sleek royal interceptors, cutting through the void like blades. 3 at first, then more signatures blooming on the scanner. Lyra's jaw tightened, her white hair flowing like liquid silver in the air. My brother commands them. He will not stop until I am broken or dead. Korath, she said his name like it was poison. Prince of the Silent Crown. He believes me a contagion. And me? I asked, though the answer weighed heavily on my chest. They'll erase you, she said. Scrub you from existence to prevent my infection from spreading. Her gaze softened. That's why I came back. To give you a choice. Run with me, or be erased because of me. I moved closer, wrapping my arms around her as the ship shuddered under the first distant barrage. I've been in exile since the night they took you. If this is exile, then let it be with you. Something broke in her expression then, fear giving way to fierce, trembling joy. She kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It was 5 years of longing and silence compressed into one desperate, fiery moment. Her lips were warm, her skin glowing brighter under my touch, the pulse between us erupting into something alive, almost violent. When we pulled apart, breathless, I saw patterns blazing across her body, luminous trails that pulsed in sync with the ship. What's happening? I asked. The bond, she said, wonder and terror in her voice. It grows stronger when we're together. It links us, to each other, and to the ship itself. The deck shuddered. Energy blasts carved across our shields. Lyra slipped into the pilot's seat, the controls responding like living things to her touch. Hold tight. The ship dove. We weaved between tumbling asteroids, their jagged edges flashing past faster than my eyes could track. The royal ships followed, relentless, their weapons scarring the void in bursts of white fire. They're not trying to disable us, I realized, gripping the seat beside her. They're trying to kill us outright. Korath would rather see me dead than free, Lyra said, her voice like steel as she banked hard, threading impossible gaps. One of the pursuing ships clipped an asteroid and spun out, engines dying in a bloom of sparks. 2 remained. How long can we keep this up? I asked. Until I can't. Her patterns pulsed harder now, feeding into the ship's systems, bleeding her strength into every maneuver. Sweat glistened across her skin. The next hit shook us violently. Alarms shrieked. Shields at 40%. Lyra. I know, she cut in, her jaw clenched. Then her eyes flicked to me, and despite the chaos, she smiled. If this ends here, then at least we end it together. Her words sent fire through my veins. I reached for her hand, squeezing tight. No regrets. None, she whispered back. And then she did something insane. She killed the engines. Momentum carried us forward, drifting dark, as the interceptors shot past, overshooting their target. In that brief silence, floating blind among spinning rock and shadow, Lyra's fingers slipped between mine. Whatever happens, she murmured, I don't regret this. Neither did I. Then, with a surge of light, she fired the engines again, flipping us backward into a mad, spiraling course that sent us cutting past the interceptors, slipping free of the asteroid field and into open space. They'll follow, I said. Let them, she replied, her voice fierce. There's a dead station not far from here. Abandoned for decades. We'll hide and repair. 40 agonizing minutes later, the broken silhouette of the station came into view, a colossal ring hanging dead around a barren moon. We slipped through a shattered docking bay and cut the engines, the ship falling silent. Outside, the interceptors swept past, their scanners confused by the debris. Inside, the glow along Lyra's skin dimmed as exhaustion dragged her down. She slumped against the seat, trembling. I need to rest, she whispered. I guided her to the small cabin at the rear. She collapsed onto the narrow bunk, her hand finding mine even in sleep. Her breathing slowed, but her grip never loosened. I sat there in the dimness, staring at her luminous patterns flickering faintly with each heartbeat. She was no longer just the queen I had once saved. She was something more, exile, warrior, flame. And she had come back for me. I leaned closer, brushing my lips against her hand. We'll face them together, I murmured. No matter what it costs. The station creaked around us, ancient and hollow, while outside in the void, the Empire regrouped. The hunt was far from over. The alarms woke me. Lyra was already in the cockpit when I stumbled in, her hands dancing across controls, her white hair glowing faintly in the red emergency light. Through the viewport, 5 royal ships had formed a net around the station, their weapons gleaming cold and merciless. Her voice was steady, but her shoulders shook. Korath brought reinforcements. He's not leaving without me this time. The comm crackled, sharp and icy, his voice spilling across the cabin in that melodic tongue of her people. Lyra froze, her violet skin paling as she translated. He's offering terms. If I surrender, they'll spare you. They'll drop you at the nearest human colony and erase your memory of me. The words struck like knives. And you? Her voice broke. They'll recondition me. Strip away everything I've become. I'll exist, but I won't be me anymore. No, I stepped forward, wrapping my arms around her from behind, feeling her trembling ease beneath my touch. Then we refuse. If we do, Kaelin, they'll destroy the station with us still inside. Then we die together, I whispered against her hair. Because I will not let them take you. She turned in my arms, tears brimming in her violet eyes, the first tears I had ever seen her shed. You would die for this? For me? For you, I said, cupping her face. I'd die, I'd fight, I'd defy every empire in this galaxy. You taught me what it means to feel, Lyra. I'm not giving that up. Her lips trembled into a smile, even as the countdown began echoing over the calm 10 minutes until annihilation. There might be another way, she whispered, dragging up a display. Lines of energy and light pulsed across the screen, weaving a map of something alive. Our bond. Our connection isn't just emotional. It's biological. My presence has been changing you, Kaelin. Your humanity is reshaping me. If we merge completely, if we complete the bond, we might generate enough energy to survive. Maybe even fight back. My breath caught. A transformation. Yes. 2 souls becoming one system. Permanent. Irreversible. I don't know what it would do to you. It might kill you. Or you may never be fully human again. The countdown ticked to 5 minutes. I met her gaze, and the fear in my chest melted into certainty. Do you trust me? With everything. Then let's do this together. She kissed me, fierce, desperate, full of everything we couldn't say. Then we joined hands, foreheads pressed, and opened ourselves completely. The pulse that had haunted me for 5 years ignited like a star. Energy flooded through me, burning, reshaping. Her memories poured into me, childhood in a cold palace, despair in the crash, joy the night I carried her from the ruins. And she saw me, loneliness, loss, the stubborn hope that refused to die. Our skin erupted in matching light. Patterns spread across me, green and gold weaving into her violet glow until we were radiant, blinding. The ship itself roared to life, systems surging as though feeding on us. The shield pulsed outward, rippling across the fleet. Through the bond one felt it, crews gasping as suppressed emotions woke for the first time in generations. Fear. Wonder. Curiosity. Love. Karatha's calm voice cracked for the first time, uncertain, trembling. Lyra's answer rang like thunder, both in her tongue and through the bond between us. This is what you feared. But it is not weakness. It is the greatest strength in the universe. One by one, the ships powered down their weapons. Their formation broke. Then, in silence, they retreated. They're leaving, I whispered. For now, Lyra said, collapsing into my arms, her glow soft but steady. But they'll be back. And when they come, we'll be ready. The patterns across her skin dimmed, but her smile burned brighter than any star. Because we're not running anymore, Kaelin. We're building something new. A place where humans and my people, and anyone else who wants to feel, can belong. I pulled her close, the bond singing between us like a living thing. They'll call us dangerous. Then let them, she whispered against my lips. We'll be dangerous to empires that thrive on silence. But to those searching for hope, we'll be salvation. The station hummed around us, systems reawakening under the surge of our joined energy. Beyond the viewport, the stars wheeled endlessly on. She kissed me again, slow and certain, and in that kiss I tasted a future that was dangerous, uncertain, and utterly worth it. Behind us, the Empire fled. Ahead, the unknown waited. We flew toward it together, leaving trails of light. Some bonds aren't written in the stars. They're written in the courage to defy them. And that's how Kaelin and Queen Lyra became more than fugitives. They became the spark of something new, a defiance that no empire could contain. Together, they chose love over silence, connection over obedience, freedom over fear. What began as a single night in the ruins grew into a story of transformation, of two souls who refused to let go, even when the universe demanded it. Lyra's exile was never the end, it was the beginning of a revolution, carried not by armies or weapons, but by something far more dangerous, the bond between two beings who had chosen each other against impossible odds. Their journey isn't over. Somewhere beyond the edge of known space, they will build that home, that sanctuary where feeling isn't forbidden, where connection isn't contamination. And when the silent crown comes again, and they will come, Kaelin and Lyra will be waiting, stronger than before. If this story touched your heart, if you felt even a flicker of that impossible bond while listening, then help us keep telling these tales. Subscribe to this channel for more powerful sci-fi love stories, share this with a friend who needs to believe in something bigger than the stars, and leave a comment below, what would you risk everything for? Because in the end, the only stories that matter are the ones that remind us. We are never as alone as the void would have us believe. So don't just watch, be part of this journey. Like, share, and subscribe, and together we'll keep reaching for the stories written in starlight.